Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
And this half hour brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, life, business, boat, motorcycle, RV, Medicare products. I was thinking earlier today about this, and I said, I have at least 4 of these insurance needs. And, yeah. I mean, that is, that's probably for most of you, it's probably the same neighborhood, right? Yeah, anywhere from 2 to 4. You need somebody that can handle all of it. That will make sure you're fully insured, make sure they get you the best price. Customer service means everything to them. At Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury, go to purdyinsurance.com. Time now to bring in Mike Poorman. Mike, welcome. It's great to have you with us as always.
It's great to be with you. And, you know, I'm one of those people you were talking to about Purdy. Multiple needs, and I believe, although you don't look at Steve, I believe you're 65, and I just turned 65, so I can appreciate what they offer. This is an unpaid commercial. What they offer to help you navigate, and you and I are still employed, so we don't have the need for it now, but navigate the Medicare maze. Yeah. I mean, when the time comes, I need an expert. I may give Purdy a call.
Steve Engel. That's the guy to talk to. And I'm 2 years up on you. I'm 67. So,
get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. At least that's what my mom told me.
You got 22 more years then to go broadcasting Penn State football.
I feel like I could. I want to get to I'm not surprised by this, but the 4 power conference commissioners, which is where the power is going to be with the college football playoff moving forward, are talking seriously now about 16 teams. What's your thought on that, obviously after seeing just 1 year at 12?
Yeah, they're going to end up there. The question is whether they're going to go to 14 next season and re-rack at 26. But 16 is such a nice, neat, even number. And then you're going to look at X number of berths for Big Ten and SEC. You know, that's where it's going to end up. That's where the TV money is. You saw the thing this week, how much it's going to be worth if the SEC converts one of their games to a conference game. That's just an extra $80 million just for changing a non-con to a con game. So the money is going to be so much more to make that jump. It's going to make sense. It's going to fix the seeding problem. It's going to fix the berths where you're automatic for the bigger conference. Yes. I mean, it makes sense. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, and this is where we are, because the money part of it's a huge part of it. When everybody is going to have to come up with an additional $25 to $28 million because it's not just the $20.5 million. The part that's left out is the extra money that's going to have to be allocated for, in roster limits, the additional scholarships. And that's always left out of the conversation.
Right, especially now, as with the agreement this past week. I love that you talk about this stuff, Steve. Especially with what happened this week, the two sides are coming together. Wilkins is going to approve it, so that means everyone who's grandfathered in, even including the high schoolers coming in. So you're looking at up to 5 more years of making sure everyone on these bigger roster spots is supported financially. That's a big wave of money. It may not be a tsunami, but it is going to be a big hit. And I'm in favor of it. You can't cut someone off in the middle of their college career, but there are financial repercussions.
Yeah, there are, and you don't necessarily have to make any walk-on a scholarship player. For example, the SEC has decided that they're going to stay at 85 scholarships, but 105 on the roster, so they're going to have 20 walk-ons. Now, why are they going to do that? Because they can give 85 scholarship players more money per person as opposed to 105. It's a question of math, and that they've decided that the math says 20 walk-ons at about $25,000 a walk-on is financially viable for them as opposed to doing it as a scholarship guy and doling out money from the $20.5 million.
No, you're right. But I think other conferences, and I think even 86 on, they will, depending on who they are, they'll get varying amounts of support. And we're just talking football here.
That's right.
Once you do it across the board, if you're looking at X number of athletes that are staying on, it is a financial wave.
Yeah, no question. The next part is what the ACC did, and I was not surprised by this. When the ACC network was formed, and ESPN, of course, owning and operating it, you just talked about the SEC in football potentially going to 9 conference games and ESPN paying more because now they'll have more inventory. Well, the ACC went to more inventory in basketball when the ACC network was formed and went to 20 games. They're not going to back off to 18 because they feel they need better non-conference games because the conference has shockingly, and really I mean that, shockingly become weak. The only conference that's going to have 20 conference games beginning next year is going to be the Big Ten. What is your thought on that?
Well, it's two-part, and when I saw that, I mean, how far have the mighty fallen with the ACC, the basketball conference for you and I for decades and decades. And so, how many teams do they have in the 20? Did they have 2?
4.
So you compare that to the SEC, when they go, we're so weak that we have to go outside a conference. That's pretty amazing. That is amazing how that shift has happened. And then the Big Ten, I got to tell you, it's probably not great for many of the teams in the Big Ten, but I still love that a conference is a conference, and you've got to work your way through the conference. And I think we've seen that with Big Ten football, and they have forced SEC now to say, listen, you've got to win your conference. It has to mean something. So I think Big Ten continues to take the idea of a conference seriously. I do like that.
Yeah, well, here's a couple of things about the Big Ten that I admire. Number one, when they did the 5-year schedule, everybody was going to play everybody in the conference home and away over a 5-year span. I've always thought that was important. And in 5 years, you'll play everybody home and away. Nobody's off the schedule for 5 years. SEC has a tendency to do that. And then in basketball, you play everybody. You play 14 one plays and 3 home and aways, and that's how you get to 20. I think they've done everything they can to keep the integrity of what a conference is, despite having a conference that is huge.
You said that so much better than I did. But the key word there is integrity. So no matter what, when we're talking dollars and cents, I still like the idea and of what you're saying, keeping the integrity of the conference, of the league champion meaning something. And actually, so you're looking at a January 3rd week game that means something, that is going to determine where you are in the standings. There's going to be a rivalry there, and it makes sense as far as staying within the conference.
Yeah, exactly. It's the most interesting time to be covering college sports, and because we've never seen some of these things happen, things that probably should have happened a long time ago. How long do you think, just on a guesstimate, that between Title IX or the clearinghouse or something where somebody sues?
Tomorrow. As soon as, let's put it this way, as soon as Jeffrey Kessler gets his check from the House settlement, he'll be next up with that.
I'll tell you, that guy has fought for years on this thing. I mean, he has fought for years on it. He's obviously a big believer in this.
Not to be flip, you raise a great point. As far as Title IX, there are repercussions, and it is a changing landscape, and it is a challenging time. And I think once Wilkins says House is official, then, in all honesty, then I think once the money is doled out, once the roster spots are set, then the smoke will clear a little bit, and then I think you'll see the Title IX complaints come in.
All right, so St. Francis is going to roll back to non-scholarship Division III. Do you think it's possible other schools do the same thing? I'd like to point out the Northeast Conference, though, New Haven's actually going to move up. I don't think people know that. Actually, they're going to move up to the Northeast Conference. So there's already a replacement in place. But do you think others may go Division III? And what is the possibility of some sports going to club sports that would be in the nonprofit area?
I think that's a great two-part question. I think the latter is going to happen for the minor, the Olympic, the non-revenue sports. But here's two things about college sports at any level. They produce revenue, but they also, so if you're at a Division II or III, they produce revenue. Athletes want to continue their careers. They pay tuition. They pay room and board. It's a way to get students to come to your campus, is providing that athletic experience. And then it's the old front porch theory. So whether you're at Penn State, football is a great unifier. It always has been, through thick and thin in many ways. It's the old front porch of whether the Flutie years at Boston College or George Mason on their NCAA run.
Yeah.
But even if it's a lost leader, Steve, it creates identity. It creates a reason for alum to come back. It creates tradition. It creates, it's also marketing for new students. I mean, I've said this to James Franklin before. In a lot of ways, James is underpaid. He's the chief marketing officer at Penn State. When football does well, when the players are good on and off the field, it's a wonderful marketing tool for Penn State. And I think in some ways, whether you're Division II or Division III, a well-run athletic program that provides opportunities for non-scholarship athletes who will pay to come to college, it's a marketing tool for their admissions department.
No question. That's why I will not use the term non-revenue sports. They produce revenue. I refer to them as non-profit sports. In other words, there's no profit in it. You're losing money. Yeah, you're in the red. I mean, the only two in the black are football and men's basketball. Everybody else is losing money. people will take a tremendous amount of pride in Penn State winning a national championship in women's volleyball, a tremendous amount of pride in the wrestling program, okay, winning the national championship, and they should justifiably. They're two of the best programs in the country to go with a whole bunch of others that are great. But as a business model, they can't survive on their own.
No, well, for X number, and continue to use Penn State as an example of the 800-plus unduplicated varsity athletes, the scholarship equivalent is about half of that. And so you're looking at up to 400 tuitions and room and boards that people are paying for out of their pocket. So essentially athletics is bringing in that revenue just for its participants into the overall Penn State University coffers.
Right. No, look, it makes a big difference in just the name getting out there consistently associated with success. Success breeds success. People want to be part of something they think is special and successful. Penn State Athletics, to go with the Smeal College of Business, to go with the Belisario College of Communications, to go with the engineering department, everything is combined between the publicity of success athletically and to go with the success that's academically as well. And that combination draws people to the university.
And that's why I think it's very cool. Renovation, the football stadium renovation is creating a welcome center for year-round.
Yeah.
I mean, when people come to campus to look at Penn State for all those tours you see on campus of line ambassadors walking backwards, they meet at Shields or the Hub. Now they're going to meet at the stadium in this incredible welcome center with terrific parking, fabulous stadium, and it's going to be a true welcome center. So that wouldn't happen if not for the stadium renovation.
Well, it's interesting because Playfly this week held a conference which brought in their major advertisers and corporate partners and so forth. And my thought was in sitting there, it took place at Pagula. My thought sitting there was that in 2027 or whenever everything's 2028, this is going to be something that takes place in the stadium.
Right.
Okay? It's not going to, with all due respect, it's not going to take place in Pagula. And that was one of my thoughts right away because you're going to want to use that space. And see, athletics, for example, if they want to do something at the Jordan Center, they have to pay rent.
I know. Isn't that funny? I mean, it's not funny, but it's a piece of it's a different business unit. It's very interesting. I thought that was very astute of Pat Kraft to put their offices in the old visitor center, now the administration building.
Oh, no, exactly right. Look, what's happened is that the only coaches that are left in there, remember they built the Jordan Center, almost every coach was there. Okay? Almost all of them were there. Well, now it's only men's basketball, women's basketball. The primary athletic people have moved over to their own building. Many of the coaches have gone to Rec Hall. Some are at Pagula, right? Because they got out of paying the rent part because they had to rent the offices.
They still pay rent for basketball practice, right? I mean, just practice we're talking about. Not even games.
Practice, games. Oh yeah, they have to rent the practice gym. Anytime they're out there using it, they have to rent it. So
it's a complicated business. But I'm with you. The Penn State brand is terrific. Athletics especially this year. I wrote a piece a couple weeks ago. When you look at the final national champions and Final Four, women's volleyball, Godowski with hockey, Katie with volleyball, James with football, and Kale with volleyball. And for me, one of the piece was, like, they're all teachers. They're all really good teachers. And for a university to have that success at that level, that's one thing. But you and I know, and you're there all the time for football, a good coach is a good teacher. So to me, it's not a surprise. All four of those had great seasons.
Yeah, great seasons. And it's not just the head coaches that are great teachers. Katie will give all the credit to her staff, especially with everything she went through this year. Cale always talks about Casey and Cody, always.
Well, Casey's the secret sauce as much as Cale almost, right?
Yeah, I mean, Casey and Cody, I mean, he talks about them all the time. James talks about his staff all the time. And let's face it, Keith Fisher has been side by side with Guy from day one. And he talks about him all the time. I mean, sometimes it's the teachers that may not be the one at the press conference, but they're the ones that the guy at the press conference appreciates more than anybody.
No, that's very well put.
Mike, it is always a pleasure. Enjoy commencement weekend.
Thanks for having me. I love these conversations, Steve. You know your stuff inside and out, but the off-the-field issues, not a lot of people talk about, so I appreciate that opportunity.
Well, I think that's, you know what, Mike, to be honest with you, those are the issues that shape why a fan sees something or doesn't see something. And that's why you and I talk about that stuff, because you understand it completely. You're brilliant at it. All right, but it shapes what a fan sees or doesn't see and may explain why they see it or don't see it.
No, that's good.
Mike,
right,
thank
thanks, buddy.
you.
Appreciate it. Take care.
You bet. Mike Poorman joining us. Belisario College Communications faculty and statecollege.com. We will come back more in a moment. As I think I just waved to Victor Wembanyama. He wanted me to tell the suit hi, and the suit doesn't realize there's 6 Flags here now. He brought up some amusement park that got blown up years ago. It's sad. Very sad.
6 Flags and the suit have the same theme song.
Half Hour brought to you by Purdy Insurance on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is, because it's Brewers Outlet time. The beverage supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
May means warmer weather, the official start of the summer season, and the month that we want to see ya in a Kia more than ever from Sunbury Motors Kia.
Wanna see ya in a Kia. Sunbury Motors Kia.
Hurry in to Sunbury Motors Kia now and choose from 130 new Kias available. Looking for an all-wheel drive SUV with plenty of cargo and legroom? Sunbury Motors Kia has 48 Kia Sportages to choose from, and they start just under 31 grand. There's 29 2025 models and 12 2026 models on their way. Plus, SMC has 7 2025 hybrid Kia Sportage models. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup, too. Every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Be alive in 2025 and make May the month that we see ya in a Kia from Sunbury Motors Kia on the Strip in Hummel's Wharf.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see retailer or go to kia.com.